Ja, herzlich willkommen zur neuen Ausgabe SI Talk Interview Vancouver Runde, und auf das Interview habe ich mich schon richtig gefreut. Craig Johnston von Carl Data. Vielleicht können Sie sich erinnern, im Sommer, ich habe die Aktie zugekauft, damals nochmal bei 10, 11 Cent, 12 Cent rundherum, irgendwo in diesem Dreh. Habe leider den Tiefpunkt April, Mai verpasst. Und danach, unmittelbar, sind sie eigentlich rausgekommen mit einem Private Placement mit 20 Cent. Das war gezeichnet, obwohl die Aktie bei 12, 13 gestanden hat. Seitdem pendelt es bei 15, 16 rundherum. Aber trotzdem, die Leute, die bei 20 Cent investiert haben, bei 20 Cent das Private Placement gezeichnet haben, müssen ein riesen Vertrauen in die Company haben. Und vielleicht schauen Sie sich auch noch das Interview an im Jänner. Das hat mich damals eigentlich schon relativ stark überzeugt, deswegen war es bei mir oben auf der Watchlist ganz oben. Conflict of Interest, ich bin Aktionär. Greg, I said in my German introduction, is really an interview what I'm really looking for then for some reason. First, I bought more stock, so I have the conflict of interest as a shareholder. Right. I bought it compared to the share price now cheap now, but I must say the first I bought really high, so I leveraged me a little bit down, and there was some news that really brings for me more confidence to the story. And one particular news was also that, for example, you take or you make a private placement with 20 cents. The stock at this time traded at around 12, 13 or something. Now we're trading up to 15 to 17, 18 cents. So that's mean for me that the people they are invest with 20 cents, they must have a really big confidence in your story.
Yeah, well, it's plain that the investors, the key investors that we have coming in right now, see our stock as a bargain at the current price compared to its potential moving forward. And we've been able to get that point across to them, and this is why we're having people come in strong and do the 20 cent placement. We limited that 20 cent placement because, of course, we feel as a company we're worth much more, and we have lots of projects on the go. The thing that people have to understand about our company is that it's not millions of individuals that sign up for our platforms and our services. Rather, it's very large companies and governments and municipalities. So that incremental growth it can be. It's sort of doubling over a course of a couple of years, but you don't see it every single week. So we don't have a news release every single week to say we've signed on 1,000 people. Rather, it's like I said, incremental growth. And as the company, as we've built the company, since we've taken over the platforms, we've done these acquisitions, the size of the projects that we're getting are getting larger and larger and larger exponentially.
You also have in the summertime a shareholder letter or a letter to shareholders, and you describe the different areas where you work. For one example, oil and gas, or the mining industry, the governments, the provinces or towns you work for. So when we talk about this growth potential, from which area do you think the most growth is coming?
Well, I think it's across the board, but I think we have the most immediate growth potential probably in sectors like mining, oil and gas, perhaps agriculture, those areas. And that's because of some of the new products that we're introducing into the marketplace. We now have an end-to-end industrial IoT solution that we can put in place. And of course, our specialty is environmental monitoring. And in these times of somewhat uncertainty, especially with a different climate and environmental things happening that they don't fit the models, the weather models, and the predictions that we've made, many decades ago. people are becoming much more aware of how important it is to monitor critical infrastructure and facilities, because the adverse effects of those, something happening, an environmental event happening and washing a dam away, or completely ruining a storm drain system or something like that, is catastrophic. So it makes sense in this day and age, because the cost of actually fitting out these places with sensors, and the cost of actually collecting that data and putting it into a system like ours and creating multiple dynamic models that show you exactly what's going on is very, very low. It makes sense to actually put these systems in place.
Is it also that it's easier to deal with individual companies than with the government?
Yes. Yes, I'll say that the RFP process, the sales process is much shorter. So that was a big reason why we made the move, and that's proving to be correct.
That is understandable. Then, when you work with the government, they have always a budget, and if the budget's running out for this year, you must wait for the next year, and then it takes time. I know that from other companies, they have the same issues when they work with the government. If you are through, then they are very good clients.
That's right.
But before the companies, it can take years.
Yes.
So, but what can be maybe in the next 6 months the catalyst for a growing share price? Is it only new contracts, or do you work on other things?
Well, it's new contracts. It's the release of new products and services. So there's a lot of cross-sell, upsell that we're doing as well. So that's where existing customers that we already have can take advantage of new products that we're releasing. So there's that as well. So not only new contracts, but existing customers taking advantage of the brand new products and services that we offer.
I saw also one of the press releases that you joined a German a group.
Yes.
I have no idea what is the English name for it. The environmental.
It's a engineering group association, a big engineering association in Germany, and the goal is, of course, is that we wish to expand outside of North America. We've got a firm foothold in North America, but there's other markets that we could be in. Joining these associations, meeting with the representatives, and making sure that we network out to the companies that are actually doing the same kinds of projects in Europe and Asia that we're supporting here in North America makes a lot of sense. So next week, actually, I will be over in Europe, and that will be the start of our kickoff. We have had some projects in the UK before, but never anything in mainland Europe. So this is the big kickoff for us.
So when we think now a little bit further in the future, so next 2 years or 3 years, how the companies looks like?
Well, I see the company as growing geographically. There's a lot more places that we can use our products, and not just as I mentioned Europe, but also South America, Africa, and Asia. These are all markets that we're exploring actively. That we have. Partnership positions with other companies that are on the ground in those areas that are supporting us and looking at opportunities for us. So we're in a really exciting sort of stage of growth, I think, for the company. And the good thing is that the products that we actually sell in terms of some of these advanced analytics projects, as it relates to infrastructure, is becoming more mainstream. So we're not sort of on the cutting edge anymore. Rather, we're right in the middle of these companies and these governments knowing that they need this type of solution in place.
When we come to the balance sheet, When you think that we see all this healthy development have an impact on your balance sheet, so it's mean that we see, so at the moment is you're still burning cash, that the revenue what you generate is not enough that you cover the cost mainly. So, but when you really think we see it in the balance sheet?
Oh, I think that we're very close to break even. I mean we're bumping up against it every month now. There are, of course, we want to grow very quickly, so I'm putting every last dime into sales and marketing, business development, and expansion now. So, but we want to be at least break even moving forward. With some cash, obviously, to expand our sales and marketing, business development, and we're right there. So it's a very exciting time for us in that respect as well. We've got our core group of people, and now it's very exciting because I don't have to expand upon that core group of engineers, developers, the people that really build our products, but rather the area we need to expand is on sales, marketing, those types of efforts, and customer support as we gain new clients and bigger clients. So it's an exciting time. You know, we'll be we're covering our costs, and or at least we're projected to in right this year, and we look like we're going to really pull ahead.
One question coming to my mind is, when you grow really fast, to say, okay, maybe you double the revenue, how high go the cost there, or do you say we don't? The profit margin is really high on our product, so if you have the product, we can roll it out easily to other ones.
Yeah, I hired a core group of very smart people at the beginning, and the goal was to hire and keep that core group together to create these products. And because I have them and I have maintained those groups over the past couple of years, as we've grown the company and struggled to increase the revenue, we don't have to expand, and so our margins go up exponentially as right about now as we reach a break even, because I have my costs covered. So every initial dime above that is really a profit. So we've taken the lumps over the past couple of years to get it to this phase, and now we can start to see much higher margins for the company, which is very exciting.
Great. One last question: do you help, or is the climate discussion what we have now in the medias and in Europe, and it helps your company, or that brings more focus in this area too, or is it a non-event for you?
Well, I would say that the majority of the media coverage of what's happening, of course, with our environment really helps us. There's some governmental actions that maybe aren't in keeping with that coverage, so those don't help us, but still. The changes are undeniable at the ground level. So at the municipal level, at the regional level, and that's not lost on our customers and our target audience.
Okay, great. Thank you for the update. Es war ein Update vom Karl Data. Wenn Sie sich das Interview anschauen vom Jänner, dann hat er ungefähr erwartet, dass man so Break-Even oder der große Durchbruch April, Mai, Juni ungefähr kommt, zweites Quartal. Wir haben, wie es so ausschaut, ein bisschen eine Verzögerung drinnen. Das liegt natürlich auch groß daran, dass er halt mit großen Firmen oder auch Governments arbeitet. Und deswegen war meine erste Frage, wo sieht er denn das meiste Potenzial? Also er hat einen Aktionärsbrief, gibt es im August oder sowas, wo halt drinnen steht, halt, Öl-, Gasindustrie, Minenindustrie, Governments und so weiter, Städte, mit denen es zusammenarbeitet, oder ganze Regionen. Er hat gesagt, ganz klar ist es eigentlich die Mine- und Öl- und Gasindustrie, da kommt am meisten Power raus, wo meine Gegenanfrage war, liegt es daran, dass sie halt nicht mit einzelnen Firmen arbeiten und dort einfach der Prozess einfach ist zu abwickeln. Was macht die Company selber? Nur mehr um das klarzustellen, eigentlich ist einer Ding, das Monitoren von vor allem Umweltbedingungen. Das heißt, nehmen wir mal an, eine Minenfirma hat einen Damm, sozusagen den Abraum, der muss ja abgedichtet sein, und man hört ja ab und zu, zum Beispiel in Brasilien ist ein großer Damm gebrochen, vor ein paar Monaten, das war ein riesen Umweltthema, dass man das Ganze monitort und auch dementsprechend überwacht, ob da was passiert oder nicht, und damit man frühzeitig feststellen kann, okay, wir müssen dort jetzt aktiv werden. Dasselbe funktioniert bei Städten, wo es Abwasser geht, oder auch Regenwasser, wo sind Schwachstellen im System, wenn jetzt dort und dort regnet, was bedeutet das in 5 Stunden oder 10 Stunden dort an möglicherweise so einer Schwachstelle. So, das heißt, die Leute, die dort arbeiten, kriegen frühzeitig informiert, aha, wir müssen dort einschreiten, bevor eigentlich es noch offensichtlich ist, und können dann sozusagen diese großen Schäden verhindern. Das ist natürlich ein Riesenthema, sage ich mal, und wird immer stärker. Er hat selber gesagt, sie sind immer ganz knapp, ganz close zum Break-Even, und jeder neue Auftrag, der eigentlich dazukommt, ist fast reiner Profit, weil er hat das Kernteam gebildet, das hat er die letzten Jahre durchgeschliffen, deswegen haben sie auch Verluste gebaut, aber jetzt würde jeder Kontrakt helfen. Sie wollen auch sehr stark expandieren, weltweit. Er ist nächste Woche in Europa, wenn man sich die Pressemeldungen anschaut, haben sie auch einen großen Deal gemacht mit einem Verein, ist falsch ausgedrückt, mir fällt kein deutsches Wort ein, großen Ingenieursvereinigung, Vereinigung ist glaube ich besser, die gerade in diesem Bereich auch spezialisiert ist, wo sie ihre Produkte quasi auch vorstellen wollen. Und bin gespannt. Also ich habe zugekauft, ich finde es nach wie vor spannend, denn für mich ist nach wie vor der Knackpunkt, wenn einer für 20 Cent investiert, ein strategischer Investor, und sie haben den noch gekappt auch, dann heißt es für mich, dass die den Wert des Unternehmens deutlich höher sind. Und wenn man einmal bei diesen Dingen drinnen ist, bei diesen Firmen und bei diesen Governments, dann kommt man da auch nicht mehr so schnell raus, und damit haben wir sehr gesicherte Umsätze. Deswegen gefällt mir die Company sehr gut, und deswegen habe ich schon nachgekauft, aber ich kann mir durchaus vorstellen, dass ich nochmal meine Position erhöhe, damit ich dann beim nächsten Move wirklich dabei bin. Das war's von CalData, Johnston im Oktober 2019, Vancouver. Tschüss und Baba. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.